access to our very first what if unit in the game. Of course, that unit being Tag, Goku, and Bardock, which honestly leads into a lot of speculation as to what we can see in the future. But all of that aside, this unit is very powerful, and the main reason is because they come with a brand new mechanic, the indestructible mechanic, which makes them completely impervious to damage when they're about to die. And then after the opponent's combo ends, you get half of your health back. So it's like an evolved version of endurance, because this mechanic can't be nullified as of right now. It makes them extremely formidable, especially defensively. And because of that, I have 3 battles to show you guys today that shows a bit of that mechanic in action. But with that being said, let's get into it.
Versus Super Saiyan Future Trunks, Gotenks, and Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta, and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku.
And here we are in the first battle. So I lead off with Goku and Bardock, and the opponent leads off with Super Saiyan Trunks. So they're kind of floating back, and at this point, I'm like, you know what, I have Blast Armor on strike, so if they follow up with Blast, I'm not too worried. Eventually, I catch Trunks, and the opponent throws in Gotenks, and then I end up comboing Gotenks, but I have to be very careful because of the fact that since they have Trunks and Gotenks, they have 2 sets of endurances on their side, which makes things difficult for me. Anyway, they eventually throw in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta, and at that point, I'm pacing myself after I threw in Bardock, because the main thing I want to be able to do is combo as much as possible, and either get their main attacker out the way, or get one unit with endurance out the way. So, as I'm comboing Vegeta, they end up throwing in Gotenks, and because of that, it slightly put me in a rough position, but afterwards they tackled. When I tackled, I got hit first, but afterwards I threw in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta and then followed up with my special move. I was hoping it was going to do enough damage to wipe out Gotenks so it can nullify his endurance, but it just wasn't enough. Anyway, now Gotenks pops his main ability, and at that point I was kind of thrown off because I followed up with Strike, but it like kind of instantly got me in there, so I wasn't complaining. So anyway, I continued my combo, and then afterwards I ended it because I have a special skill, and I want to use that special skill with Goku and Bardock specifically because it's an AoE that nullifies cover change. So the opponent ended up swapping out to Trunks, and because of that, I combo a little bit with Vegeta, and again, I still have that special skill. So because of that, I throw in Bardock, it nullifies cover change, and from there I continue my combo against Trunks with Bardock, dealing pretty decent damage. Now, at this point, the main thing that I'm trying to do is just nullify somebody's endurance. That's all I need to do. The downside is, since I activated Trunks' unique gauge, I lost all sorts of ki, which really did not help. Because if I had enough ki, I could have thrown out my special move, and they probably would have thrown in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta. Anyway, they end up comboing, and then they throw in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta, and then afterwards, I take them out, and I end up having my own Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta in. And at this point, all I really need to do is just kind of stall. Like, even if they execute Rising Rush, I do still have Goku and Frieza in the back. The downside is the timer counts are running pretty low, and they're about to lose their gauge. So when it comes down to Rising Rush, it's really gonna fall on Goku and Bardock instead. So they end up dropping their combo. I throw in Bardock, and afterwards they throw in, well, they swap to Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta. Luckily, I still had Goku in, but remember, my gauge is now empty. So if they use Rising Rush, I have to throw in Goku and Bardock. It's the only way I'd be able to survive the rush. Anyway, the opponent starts pacing themselves. They end up throwing out Ki Blast, and I got caught. But again, I'm still at element factor advantage up until they swap into Goku. And at that point, it was either I could have somebody else take the hit or just let them go. I figured because of the fact that their gauge was empty, I'm just going to let them go. Anyway, so I tackle with Vegeta, they fought with Strike, they miss, and then afterwards I continue my combo after throwing in Bardock. And at this point, if I can just deal enough effective damage, then I can at least nullify one endurance. So I throw in Goku because obviously he has element factor advantage against Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, and then I throw out my special move, the opponent threw in Gotenks, it nullified his endurance, he's gone. So afterwards, Vegeta and Goku are back in. I luckily got a special skill, so I vanish and I pop it immediately, and at this point, all I need to do is get Bardock back in, because if I do, then I at least have an advantage against Trunks. So I eventually get Bardock back in, but of course my combo ends because I had no more cards. Now, the only thing I need to do at this point is just be able to nullify Trunks' endurance, because if I can do that, then I'm golden. So I end up tackling, and then the opponent ends up swapping to Trunks. You know, they sidestep, I catch them, and at that point I activate their endurance, and then afterwards I'll wipe out Trunks. So now it's just Vegeta. But then they floated back and then they floated forward, I'm assuming because they were trying to catch me with like strike arts that way. It didn't work. So I followed up with Strike, I caught them and wiped them out with, you know, Bardock, and that was it. But either way though, using this unit offensively is good, especially because obviously they cover 2 element factors, but also just the initial notion of if it really came down to it, even with the likes of a powerful unit like Goku and Frieza where their gauge is empty, I still have a defensive measure against Rising Rush if I really need to use it, with Goku and Bardock having indestructible. So I was relatively safe for a majority of the battle, even if they wanted to throw it out. I could have just thrown them in and they would have survived the Rising Rush, and I would have gotten half of my health back. So again, defensively and even offensively, they functioned very well. But anyway, on to the next battle.
Versus Piccolo Power Awakening, Ultimate Gohan, and Goku and Bardock.
And here we are in the second battle. So I lead off with Goku and Bardock, and the opponent leads off with Piccolo Power Awakening. So they managed to get me to vanish. I was not expecting them to just lead off with Ki Blast, but because of that, I end up catching them in the combo, and I continue my combo to the point where I'm able to get Bardock in. So now I'm okay against the likes of, you know, Goku if he ends up going in. But I also still need to make sure that I have coverage against Gohan. Anyway, Piccolo continues his combo against Bardock. I'm taking the hits fairly well, and they just throw out Strike again, so I just threw in, you know, the other Goku with Goku and Frieza, and now I have element factor advantage. The downside with the opponent is that they swapped at the wrong time, and because of that, it left them wide open to take damage. So I take advantage of that opportunity, I throw in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta, and I continue my combo against Goku, trying to add a bit of pressure because, again, defensively, when it comes down to Rising Rush, they're going to be able to take the hit. So I need at least them gone or Piccolo's Revival to be activated. So anyway, Piccolo goes in, we end up clashing, and my reaction time was absolutely terrible in that case. Like, I don't know what was going on. So I lose the clash, but the opponent ended up following up with Strike, so I threw in Bardock, and then afterwards I follow up with a special move, and the special move was strong enough to activate his Revival. So that's one defensive option that the opponent doesn't really have anymore. So now the only other thing is I have to activate Indestructible for Goku and Bardock on the opponent's side, so that way they're all susceptible to Rising Rush at this point. So anyway, they throw out Ki Blast, I vanish, and then I pop my special skill. I nullify cover change because of this, and at this point I continue my combo, and then of course Piccolo's gauge gets filled, so my combo ends. But again, the opponent attacked, he kept on using Strike, I threw in Goku from Goku and Frieza, and because of that I was able to cover change. Now I have element factor advantage, but the thing is, and I don't know why they did this, they activated Rising Rush against Goku and Frieza. Of course they have Rising Rush counter, so they countered it, and that rush was completely useless. So now the main thing I need to do is just deal effective damage. So I activate the opponent's Indestructible mechanic with Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta. Of course I end my combo afterwards, and then from there I continue my combo when it's safe because they followed up with Blast. I just use Strike, and then I attacked and knocked him out. Anyway, Piccolo's back in. Again, I'm not worried because we're in a fantastic spot. So again, Piccolo just throwing out Strike. So I countered with Goku from Goku and Frieza and followed up with a special move this time, dealing a lot of damage. Then I got a perfect vanish off, and from there I tap attack Piccolo and he's gone. So now it's just Gohan. I knew Gohan was going to transform. It's literally his only saving grace. So I swapped to Frieza just to be safe, and at this point, if I can at least get Bardock in, then I can swap to Goku and use that to my advantage. The thing is, I keep on forgetting Gohan's able to block AoEs once after he transforms, so because of that, I popped my AoE and he blocked it. But if I were to use another one from here on out, he would not be able to survive it. So anyway, Gohan continues his combo, and he activates my Indestructible mechanic, but now I know for a fact he's wide open, like 100% wide open. So I continue my combo, and at this point, I know the battle is over. I stalled a little bit at the end because I was hoping to just like get a special move so I could just use it. I never drew one. So again, all of this extra damage that I'm taking is completely just like on me. I could have ended it with Rising Rush. I could have thrown in somebody else and like continued the combo. There was a multitude of avenues I could have taken, but I purposely dragged out the battle because I wanted to land LF. But anyway, so Gohan pops his main after comboing Goku. I throw in Vegeta. At this point, I'm honestly just like stalling. So the opponent tap blasted, I just followed up with Blast, and then from there it's game. Like, I even hesitated a little bit at the end. I'm like, should I do it or should I throw in Goku and Bardock? But I was like, you know what, let me just stop playing around and end of the battle. So there's that. Either way though, like I said, the Indestructible mechanic is very powerful, but it's not perfect. It does have its flaws if you work around it. Again, kind of like what I did where, again, I activated the mechanic on the opponent's side, and then I stopped my combo and just sat there and waited a little bit to see what they would do. And sure enough, I truly believe they followed up with the wrong option with Blast. It's just not a good idea, especially against units that have Strike Armor or Blast Armor. But still, you can get around that mechanic for sure. But if utilized properly, the mechanic is still very, very powerful. But anyway, on to the final battle.
Versus Pan, Super Saiyan Future Trunks, and Ultimate Gohan.
And here we are in the final battle. So I lead off with Goku and Bardock, and the opponent leads off with Pan. Now they have 2 red units and a blue unit. So this should be like free game for Goku and Bardock, right? So anyway, I got a special skill, so I pop it, and then afterwards they throw in Trunks for very obvious reasons, right? So I continue my combo, and then afterwards they throw in Gohan. So I swap into Super Saiyan 3 Goku because I can already tell this is just gonna be a constant rotation. So anyway, they force me to vanish. I vanish, right? And then they follow up with a combo. I'm taking the hits because obviously element factor advantage, not a big deal. And then afterwards I throw in Goku, and obviously he's nullifying cover chain, so I can't really do anything. But again, we're taking all of these hits. But the main thing that I need to do is either get Trunks out the way quickly or get Gohan out the way. Pan is annoying, but I'm sure we're fine against her for the most part. Anyway, so I get the opponent to unfortunately perfect vanish, but they follow up with a special move. We take the hit very well, and ultimately we still have indestructible. So because of that, I'm still okay defensively. As long as I don't allow that mechanic to be activated, the opponent using Rising Rush is probably not going to happen. So anyway, they throw Ki Blast with Pan, I charge in, and then I catch them with a sidestep, and then afterwards I continue my combo when they throw in Gohan. And then afterwards I throw in Bardock just to keep the combo going. I would have preferred to have kept in, Goku, but it just wasn't going to happen. So, the opponent ended up getting a special move, and then they use it. But the downside is it activates my indestructible mechanic. So now, my defensive option is gone. And then afterwards, I tackle. They vanish, but they kind of panic, and they end up transforming in the process. So now, all I need to do is just be able to breathe a bit. So I threw out my special move because I knew they were going to do something like that. And because of that, I was able to land the move and deal a lot of damage. But then, once I threw in Super Saiyan 3 Goku, they were super patient, so that really hurt a lot. But now I'm in a predicament, right? This is Gohan, Beast Gohan. He's gonna do a lot of damage. Do I swap out to somebody else, or do I let these guys take a massive amount of damage? I decided to let them take a massive amount of damage because ultimately, if it comes down to units that I can lose, it's probably these guys. Anyway, I continue my combo with Super Saiyan 3 Goku. They eventually throw in Trunks, and at this point, all I need to do is knock out somebody. So, the opponent ended up throwing out Gal Gun, and then afterwards, they end up tap attacking once I swap to Goku and Bardock, but because of that, I already had a special skill, so I vanished, popped it, and I was able to continue my combo without worry of anybody trying to come through and cover change it. But the downside is, I still wasn't able to activate Trunks' Endurance. So that puts me in a bad predicament, and again, if the opponent wants to use Rising Rush, it's not going to end very well for me, right? So, Gohan had a special move. It dealt massive damage. Of course, I threw in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta to take it because literally anybody on my team would have more than likely have died. So, anyway, they tap blast. I vanish out the way with Vegeta. And at this point, all I need to do is just get something going, right? I need to be able to deal some sort of damage to put a bit more pressure on the opponent. And again, they're not really utilizing Pan that much to the extent where, it would actually put her in a bad spot. The downside is, I ended up having lots of Blast Arts cards, which put me in a really, really bad spot. So because of that, I ended up losing Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But afterwards, I throw in Bardock, and because of that, and me having a special move, I finally was able to nullify an Endurance. So, I wipe out Trunks, and at this point, everything is a bit more smooth because it's only red units. So all I need to do is get Goku in. So I combo with Bardock, and then afterwards, I throw up the special move on Pan, and that wipes her out. Now, the unfortunate part is that I threw in Vegeta. I was trying to vanish too, but I wasn't able to do it. So, the opponent ends up comboing, but this is where we truly get to see their defenses. Again, my health is very, very low. Gohan managed to combo for a bit, and then they throw out the special move, and I still survived somehow, some way. So, because of that, I tried to wait for them to sidestep so I can actually catch them. Luckily, I did, and with that, I was able to wipe out Gohan, and that was game. So, again, like I said, that mechanic, Indestructible, is very, very powerful. It adds a lot of pressure on the opponent because it kind of forces them to be wary of how they're going to utilize Rising Rush, especially if you have units with Endurance, if you have another unit with Revival, if you have Goku and Frieza with the Rising Rush counter. It makes it really, really hard to use Rising Rush when you have the ability to defend it pretty much guaranteed in a sense. But still, this unit is absolutely fantastic. But I do want to know what you guys think about Goku and Bardock in the comment section below. But with that being said, I'm Ndukauba, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.